Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast, brought to you by our friends over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company that you can count on. So whether it's auto, homeowners, flood, boaters, or business insurance, there's nobody better in the business to work with than the great people over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. For more information about them, visit their website, briargreavesinsurance.com. Or you can give them a call at 813-876-4166. That's 813-876-4166. It is a Monday edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Not a victory Monday, and quite frankly, we're kind of getting used to that because the Bucs keep losing and finding new ways to lose, and are also losing in embarrassing ways as they are fresh off of a 24-20 loss to the Saints. And, things are not looking good. So we're going to talk more about that game. Obviously, it's a short week for the Bucs as well. And, of course, we'll get into super chats, questions, and comments from everybody. So let's get into today's show. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is Scott Reynolds, PewterReport.com. How we doing, Scott?
Doing all right. Really, really, really appreciate everybody from last night that was able to join us live. Even if you weren't, if you watched our podcast or listened to the audio version, thank you very much. We did incredible numbers. Matt, we went 2 hours and 20 minutes. It was the longest Pewter Report podcast that wasn't a draft show that we've ever done. And we kept it going because y'all kept the comments coming and the questions.
Yeah, I mean, someone's got to show up if the Bucs aren't.
That's exactly right. And that's what we're here to do. You're exactly right, Matt Matera. Just said it perfectly. So, we're here for you. Not a victory Monday, but we do have roll call coming up in about 15 minutes. We spent a lot of time focused on the Bucs defense and what's been wrong with that unit. And let's just recap it real quick. This Bucs defense has not looked the same since the 23-3 win over the Saints the first time back in week 8.
That's right.
And it certainly didn't look anything close to that in yesterday's loss, where they gave up 24 points to a team that was ranked 30th in scoring, averaging just 15.2 points per game. After the bye week, 28 points to the Patriots, 44 points to the Bills. Out of the 34 points that were scored out there in LA, 27 were surrendered by Todd Bowles' defense. Of course, the Rams had a pick six against Tampa Bay's offense. Then you come home and you feel a little bit better. 17 points. We're trying to find some silver lining in that 20-17 win against Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals. And in any bit of goodwill that came from last week's win was just sucked right out of this team yesterday. Mm-hmm. And just an embarrassing performance. But it's not just the fact that Todd Bowles' defense is giving up an average of 28 points per game since the bye week. No. It's about a Bucs offense, too, that has not held up its end of the bargain at all. And if we're being honest, and we got to call like we see it, Baker Mayfield has not played the same at all. I know he's had a turnstile in front of him on the offensive line. Yeah. The receiver position, features two rookies an awful lot this year and not enough Mike and Chris. Bucky Irving, the starting running back, has been out for most of the season. So it's been certainly a challenge, but we've seen Baker Mayfield's completion percentage drop 10% from 71% to 61% this year. And during that 5-1 stretch, Matt, where the Buccaneers started the season off so hot, Baker Mayfield threw 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Since then, since week 7 against the Lions, only 7 touchdown passes from Mayfield, 4 interceptions. Twice as many picks, not nearly as many touchdowns, and the scoring has just dropped from the Buccaneers' offense perspective. They're just not putting up the points. Certainly not what they did last year, but you don't have to score 30 points per game. But 24, 26, 28, that's a more reasonable number that this offense should be racking up. And, they should have had 24 yesterday, Matt, if Baker Mayfield would have connected with Emeka Egbuka on a big-time dropped touchdown in the fourth quarter.
And you could kind of put the blame 50-50 on that play specifically with the Emeka Egbuka. He definitely should have caught it, but also he was as open as you could see a receiver standing in the end zone saying, "Hey, I'm open."
That's right.
getting more open if you
Yeah.
tried with the Egbuka. And Baker Mayfield threw it just slightly too high. Where again, he probably should have caught it, but
Yeah.
got to put it somewhere in the radius of
Yeah.
where he is. And I don't know, this is alarming for Baker Mayfield because even though it was a makeshift offensive line, if you look at all the stats on, NFL GSIS and all
Yeah.
different things, they actually protected pretty well given the
Yeah.
circumstances that they were in.
That's right.
And yet after the first quarter, and I get it, the rain, whatever, the Saints played in the rain too.
That's right. They did.
They just can't throw the ball down the field.
Yeah.
Any pass that's more than 10 yards, and Baker Mayfield is one of the worst in the league right now. And that reared its ugly head against the New Orleans Saints. And I get the feeling, I get the vibe. Baker's been in the league for a long time, and a big knock on like rookies and young players is that they keep their eyes too much on their first read. And Baker's not exactly doing that.
Right.
But Baker, I feel like, is falling into some patterns of he looks for his first read, and if that first read isn't open, well, then he starts to panic, and that's when he tries to run around and make a schoolyard type of play.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and earlier in the season, the schoolyard plays have worked, and it's been fun, and that's why he was in the MVP conversation. But the more tape comes out, the more that teams know what Baker Mayfield wants to do. And it's not all on Baker. Like, obviously, the receivers have to get open, and that's where you're missing Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan and Chris Godwin Jr. for most of the season. But this past game, it's in dire straits right now.
Yeah,
when the running game isn't like fully clicking like it was yesterday, despite again all the big numbers of the whole group. If the running game isn't simpatico with the passing game, I don't think Baker can put it on his shoulders and get the job done to win big games. It's a far cry from what it was in the first half of the season.
Yeah, and also too, we're not trying to to throw Emeka Egbuka under the bus or whatever, because he wasn't drafted to be the number one wide receiver this year as a rookie. He was drafted to be like 3 or 4, like kind of compete with Jalen McMillan, and then when this team got Chris Godwin back, he would certainly be 3 or 4. But he ended up being right out of the gate number 2 when this team didn't have Chris Godwin start the season, and then they lose Mike Evans in week 3. And then they don't have Chris either. And then all of a sudden he's got to be number 1. And there have been some instances where he was able to get the job done. I mean, he's had some fantastic catches. He's had some big games. He has had a really good start. But like we've seen from a lot of rookies around the league, not just this year, but over time, that increased workload and the pressure that comes with being a number 1 wide receiver, it probably is weighing on him a little bit. I've heard anywhere between 6 to 10 drops for Egbuka this year. That's a lot. That's more than any other Buccaneer receiver. Doesn't mean he's not going to be good. Doesn't mean he hasn't done good things. It just means that, right now it's just like not clicking for him. And we're entering the 13th game of the season here, right? And or the 14th game. And the Buccaneers have played those 3 preseason games as well. So you've got a fact that he's played 16 games now. That's might be what he did last year as a national champion with Ohio State. But Matt, he's got 4 more weeks to go, 4 more games, and then a playoff game if this team is fortunate. That's another month tacked on, and it's as much as this guy's hit the ground running as an NFL wide receiver and looked great out of the gate. There is an adjustment period to the NFL, and so the fact that he has had some struggles here right around what time the rookie wall usually hits, it's not terribly surprising. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying that the rookie wall, it can be real. And I think that he's hitting it right now.
Yeah, I think a little bit, but I don't know. I look at Carolina and they had a bye, but their guy, Tet McMillan, has only gotten stronger as the season has gone on. Now, if you look at all the rookie wide receivers, it is McMillan and Emeka Egbuka that are at the top, but I don't know. Every team has rookies. The Bucs aren't the only team that has rookies playing more games. Bucky Irving certainly didn't hit a rookie wall last season when he was going and playing. So I don't know. I'm not going to cry boo-hoo for Emeka Egbuka because
I'm not doing that.
A lot more responsibility. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is a rookie wall meaning missing a wide open play and dropping several catches for several games now? I don't necessarily think so. It could probably be more mentally draining, and I don't want him to beat himself up the way he did kind of after the game. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know, there's other rookies around the whole league. It's not just him.
No, I guess my point is like what you're saying about Bucky Irving. Bucky didn't start the season as a starter. He didn't
Yeah,
really
that's true.
become the starter until halfway through. Emeka Egbuka was supposed to replace Chris Godwin for a couple weeks, and then kind of settle into the offense and all that. And really, from the get-go, he's had to carry the burden of the passing game. And again, at the beginning of the season, he proved to be up to the challenge. I mean, he won the game against the Falcons and then the Texans and all that. I'm just saying that for a rookie playing as much as he's played, and you do the snap counts, I mean, he's the number one wide receiver in terms of snap counts every single week. And he's a very good, well-conditioned athlete. He does all the right things. I'm just saying this is not uncommon to see rookies start strong and fade a little bit. And let's hope he gets a little bit of a second win because they're going to need him, and Todd Bowles did say today that Tristan Wirfs and Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan were all in play for Thursday night. I'm telling you, they better play because this is all hands on deck right now. And, what are you saving this team for? If you lose to the Falcons, it might not matter what happens against the Panthers.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's like if you lose this game to the Falcons and then the Panthers beat the Saints on Sunday, the Panthers will then have a 1-game lead over the Buccaneers in the NFC South. And then you're going to have to sweep the Panthers, and then, maybe you might have to win that Dolphins game too. I mean, there's a lot of different things here. The best thing the Buccaneers can do is just win out.
Yeah.
But I don't have a lot of confidence in the offense or the defense right now that they're going to be able to slow down a Kirk Cousins who's killed this Buccaneer team twice last year. And he looked like Superman last year while he looked like Clark Kent against everybody else.
I think that's the more frustrating part. It's like, a player can have a good game or two against you, but then to just be so pedestrian against the rest of the league, and even, yesterday's game for Atlanta against Seattle, or the week before when Atlanta lost to the New York Jets, and then the Jets go and get shellacked by the Dolphins. It's like you can't allow this guy to all of a sudden just ramp it up once again. And, we joked kind of during the week of, it's a must-win game. It's a playoff game. Whether that's a joke or not, there is no joking now. Like, it is a legit must-win versus Atlanta, at Carolina, at Miami, and versus Carolina again for the second time. And, forget about Atlanta. Forget about the 2 games against Carolina. I know it's a couple of weeks from now, but already thinking about the different hijinks that the Dolphins run offensively and how that's given Todd Bowles trouble in the past, not specifically with the Dolphins, but like, San Francisco's offense that Mike McDaniel comes from and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's going to give me nightmares for the next couple of weeks going up against that offense versus the Bucs offense just not being able to figure it out. And long term, I'm not concerned about Emeka Egbuka. I think he will get through this. And it is a lot on his plate. It's happening at the worst time. Like, why couldn't have this happened? The first 5 weeks of the season, and then he goes and has the Seahawks game, and I guess the game against the Patriots was later in the season. The timing of it is tough, and of course, if Egbuka drops that in the first quarter versus trying to tie the game up in the fourth quarter, we obviously view it a lot different. But that's just how it's going for the Bucs. I mean, Baker Mayfield hasn't thrown for over 200 yards in several games now, and that's certainly alarming as well. And again, not just because of the rain and stuff like that, but it's a short week. They play Thursday, but a lot has to be fixed within yesterday's game and when they hit the field on Thursday.
And can you imagine if Baker Mayfield was kind of like how he was with the knee and the oblique where he couldn't run? I mean, he has gotten the Buccaneers out of so many 3rd and longs with his scrambles, and not just recently, but in the beginning of the season. And that's part of the secret sauce to this offense in terms of converting 3rd downs. But he's having to do that because he's either not finding open receivers on 3rd down, the receivers aren't getting open on 3rd down, or he simply doesn't have enough time to throw on 3rd down, right? So there's a myriad of problems with this offense. And I think if Josh Grizzard is around to call plays next year, he really has to kind of examine things with Baker trying to go downfield more often and maybe go back to what was working last year a lot more, right? Where it's the short rhythmic passes. And I'm not talking about screen passes. I'm not saying the screens, because I think we're kind of reaching a point with the screens, whether it's to running backs, whether it's to Cade Otton, whether it's to wide receivers, that there's so much film on those screen passes because they've been used so often that they're just not working anymore. It's almost like Byron Leftwich back in 2022, where he was using screen passes way too much. I remember the 49ers game where they almost had a screen pass to Chris Godwin picked off. Okay. You're doing that lateral down the line, that smoke route. When they're jumping.
Jordan almost picked one off yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just saying, it's like there's so many instances where you can do things, drag patterns, mesh routes, slants, where you can throw short rhythmic passes to get your receivers the ball on the move where they can get some yak. And I just think we saw a lot more of that last year under Liam Cohen than we have this year. It's been more vertical based by design. And I just don't think it's suited this offense well, especially without Mike Evans, who has been their big play chunk guy down the field. If you don't have him and you're trying to throw the ball deep to the likes of Godwin, who still has some problems getting some separation, and Emeka Egbuka, who is not an absolute blazer, nor is he a 6'5" guy like Tetro McMillan or Evans that has the wingspan that can go up and get those 50-50 balls. It's tough,
Yeah, and they got speedsters like Tez Johnson, and they're not even trying deep shots to Tez Johnson anymore.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes the coverage will dictate that, and the one time they did try to go to Tez, he did draw a pass interference penalty, but that's been few and far between as well. And it just boggles my mind that they're going to try to go deep when it's pouring rain outside. You just can't. You have to adjust the game plan when it starts downpouring and there's a monsoon. And it feels like they didn't necessarily do that either. And that's why Baker, part of it is why he slowed down right after the first quarter, because that's when it started raining even more.
Yeah. Well, you said boggles the mind. Todd Bowles said some things today that kind of boggled the mind a little bit. Matt, I feel like a rant is coming on, and we usually do rants on Mondays right around 4:20.
That's right. It's time for roll call. We love doing roll call, rain or shine, win or lose, throughout the year with our fellow fans, as we call them, Pewter people, because we have fans all over the world, and we try to connect with them as much as we possibly can. And one of those ways is through roll call, where each Monday around 4:20, one of us will go in a conversation about the Bucs or the NFL. And in the meantime, today I'll be talking about Todd Bowles and the Bucs, while I'm ranting about the TODD. If you want to put in the comments where you're watching from, we'll put each one on the screen and then give a couple of shout outs as well at the same time. So I want to talk about Todd Bowles, and I want to start it with, I like Todd Bowles, the person, the human being. I think he's a really good man. He's a great person off the field. But that doesn't always translate to wins and losses. And I just got to say, I'm super frustrated with a lot of the things Todd Bowles had to say yesterday and today. And we've seen a pattern with Todd Bowles in some of these responses. And I know Todd Bowles is not going to be Bruce Arians. He's not going to be John Gruden up at the microphone, up at the lectern or the podium or whatever. He's not going to call guys out. And that's fine. I get it. But he reverts to the same type of answers time and time again. We busted on this play. It's not a coverage scheme. It's this. It's not this. It's that. We had some misfits. We had guys coming in that weren't ready to go. And, it's just like a parrot saying the same things over and over again. And I'm not here to knock parrots. I mean, I remember growing up as a kid, my favorite Disney movie was Aladdin. I liked the parrot Iago. So nothing on parrots or anything like that. But I'm tired of Todd Bowles parroting the same things over and over again, because it's either just repeat answers, never doling out the blame just a little bit. And, credit to him for taking a lot of the blame. But I want to see players get called out. There needs to be some type of fire started, whether it's from Todd Bowles or somebody else.
Yeah.
And maybe it's too much in-house stuff. Maybe it needs to be public not shaming, but, public calling out, because I think that will get people's attentions just a little bit more. And, Bowles has ran into issues before. Of course, the infamous loss to the Cleveland Browns when Tom Brady was the quarterback. And he said, we didn't want to be aggressive at the end in case we threw an interception, even though Tom Brady at the time had the least amount of interceptions. Sometimes he'll dig deeper with, trying to cover for other people, and it just doesn't make sense. And then other times he says things like he did yesterday and today that I just don't understand as well. For example, yesterday, talking about how the hell you lose to a 2-win team. He goes on to this whole thing about it's divisional game, and it doesn't matter if you're 12-0 or 0-12. It's the NFL, and I get all of that. But then he says, our biggest thing is we can't let one loss turn into two, because we have to turn around and play Thursday. We have to come to work tomorrow. As bitter taste as this is, and it's very bitter for me and everybody else, we have to turn around tomorrow and not let one loss turn into two. Where was this when you lost 3 in a row coming out of the bye? You have now lost 4 out of 5. Now you feel bitter? Where was the bitterness getting smoked on Monday Night Football in front of a national audience?
Yeah.
Where's the bitterness after being shellacked in 2 of those last 3 games on your side of the football, losing to the Bills and losing to the Rams as well? Where is the sense of urgency in these statements? That stuff I don't understand. So that was yesterday, and we talked about that a little bit on the podcast as well. Then he goes today, and the question gets asked, how do you move past this loss from the Saints? He just says work. Nothing but work. That's it. No speech. You just got to work.
Yeah.
I understand you go to practice every day. You've been putting in the work. That work has done nothing.
That's right.
What type of work are you putting in? Because you're getting your ass kicked every single time, playing the most uninspiring football I've seen during this run from Todd Bowles. He goes on to talk about a couple of different things as well, because he knows this game plan. It's been the same thing every single year. Start hot, lose several games in a row, and then come out the other side. So if there's anything that he can learn from, or if he had a broader explanation of why that's the case, I don't know, every single year. He said it's a little bit of everything. If I knew it, I'd definitely try and correct it. But I don't know. He has no idea what's going on. He doesn't know why this team stinks. And I don't love that. Then he got asked if there's any solace in knowing that he's been through it before, reaching a lull and then getting out of it. He said, we take solace in that we trust each other in the room. We trust each other and we understand each other and we know what it takes to get out of it. But you still have to execute and prepare to get out of it. How can you trust each other and yet just have no answers left and right in every single position on the defensive side? Every single week, something else flares up. It's missed tackles. It's busted coverage. It's Zion McCollum getting beat. Now Zion McCollum gets an interception. Chris Braswell Jr. gets a sack, but you can't get stops on third downs. You make a rookie quarterback look like a Pro Bowler. All of these answers, everything he's saying out loud does not translate to what is going on when the Bucs are playing their games. I don't care if it's Sunday. I don't care if it's Monday. And who knows what the hell we're going to see on Thursday. His words, and I know words are just words and actions speak louder than words. But nothing of what he's saying in front of us, in front of the media, is translating to what is going on during the field. So I can't really take anything Todd Bowles is saying seriously because it's the same regurgitated stuff over and over with no answers and no changes.
Well done, Matt. Certainly doesn't inspire any confidence, does it?
No.
That we're going to see a different Buccaneer team on Thursday. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be more of the same. And I've gotten a lot of good feedback and comments on a couple of my stories that I put out late last night. I did my 2-point conversion post-game column. And I said on the podcast last night, this Buccaneer team just feels stale under Todd Bowles. It just feels like it's Groundhog Day, same thing, different day, lather, rinse, repeat. It just seems like, oh, it was the midseason slump again. Oh, there's the stub your toe game again. Oh, we've got to rally furiously to beat lesser teams in the division to win the crappiest division in football and win the title by week 17 or 18. Oh, it's a home playoff game again that the Bucs are going to lose. It just it's getting very stale. And at some point in time, this team is not going to respond. At some point in time, the message is just going to just kind of vanilla its way out. And I think we're there. I think we're seeing that now. For whatever reason, his message is not getting home. It's not that the players don't like Todd Bowles. They like him a lot.
Right.
But I've seen this before. This is what 30 years of covering this team has taught me and shown me. The players, you're not going to find a more players head coach than Raheem Morris, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Raheem and his young Buccaneers, they love Raheem. They love playing for him. But loving your coach does not always translate to wins. Okay. I mean, that's not the case. They loved Raheem during a 10-loss in a row free fall after a 4-2 start in his final season. They went 4-12 after starting 4-2, lost 10 straight. They still loved Raheem the whole way. It just, the message got lost. He just got tuned out or whatever. And they could not, they couldn't turn it around. And it feels like we're there with Todd Bowles. I mean, there's no way what happened yesterday should have happened. I mean, that was the most unforgivable loss I think that we've seen so far in the Todd Bowles era. And there's been a couple of them, right? I mean, that Houston Texans game where CJ Stroud goes berserk with 5 touchdowns or something, sets the rookie record against Todd Bowles. The 509-yard game in Atlanta, the 36-30 Thursday night loss to the Atlanta Falcons. I'm just like, that's like that game right there. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 509 yards. Like, how does this keep happening? Right. And this was supposed to be the stretch. And we talked about it. PJ Walker beating the Bucs. That's he wasn't the head. Yeah. I mean, he was the head coach. It was 2023 or 2022. That was Tom Brady's final season. And I mean, the Bucs offense only scored 3 points, but you give up 3 touchdown passes to PJ Walker, So it just, we're seeing that, and there's not been the breakthrough season. This was supposed to be the season, and Bowles talked about it. You were there, Matt, with me at the NFL annual meeting. We need to develop a killer instinct. We want to win the division, in November, early December, not have to wait till January to win it. Like, it all sounded good, and he's done some good things. Hiring Zach Beislein, I think, has helped, but this team has not developed a killer instinct. His defense has gotten better, but not good enough. And it's not gotten better as the season went on. It started off actually okay, and it's regressed now. And you have to wonder, because now we're seeing the middle of the field, which was the problem last year in coverage, open up. And I mean, what did Kirk Cousins do? He ate the Bucs alive in the middle of the field last year. And Tyler Shuck did that yesterday. And now if you're Kirk Cousins and you're looking at the film from yesterday saying, wow, Tampa Bay is kind of doing the same things they were doing last year when I looked like Superman rather than Clark Kent. The Bucs injury report just came out. Let's get to that real quick, Matt. Do you have it pulled up? Otherwise, I can read it.
I can pull it up in a half a second. Yep. Okay. So everything's nice and creamsicle with the creamsicle game coming up. So the Bucs injury report today, which it was a walkthrough, so take that with a grain of salt. Ben Bredesen, these are all did not participate. Ben Bredesen with the knee, Servassier Dennis with the hip, Christian Izzian neck, Cade Otton knee, Hassan Reddick ankle, Tyke Smith neck and shoulder. These next players are all limited. Mike Evans collarbone, Chris Godwin Jr. fibula, Jalen McMillan neck, Tristan Wirfs oblique. So good to see Tristan limited versus not practicing at all. And then the rest of these are full. Bucky Irving shoulder, Baker Mayfield left shoulder, Benjamin Morrison hamstring, Rachaad Wisdom, who's still on IR, quad. And then for the Falcons, same thing, just practice report estimation. Drake London knee did not participate. The rest of these are limited. Brandon Dorless groin, Kadarrell Hodge shoulder, Chris Lindstrom foot, David Onyemata foot, Kyle Pitts Sr. knee, AJ Terrell Jr. neck, Jalen Walker quad, and then this status is full participant Caden Ellis elbow. So a lot of DNPs, not to be surprised, especially with Ben Bredesen and Servassier Dennis. Christian Izzian, I think, comes as a concern, especially with, Tyke Smith getting injured in that game as well. Hassan Reddick, not a surprise either, given he got injured in the last game. But, I don't know. At this point, the Bucs will just never survive injuries. You're muted, Scott.
There we go. All right, I'm back. I'm with you, Matt. It's looking dire right now, and I'm not trying to be negative. I'll do a Bucs Brightside video for tomorrow, and I'll give you all the pure positives I can come up with. It's going to be a challenge, folks. Remember, it was really short when I did the Rams game. It might be really short for tomorrow's as well. I do have a Pewter Pulse video that's coming out about Kirk Cousins and the Falcons playing the Bucs on Thursday. That'll be out around 5:15 and about 45 minutes. So you can check that out here on Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. But a couple of other things. The 2-point conversion's out. The Bucs mailbag is out. Y'all had some great questions. I think I answered like 6 of them this week. Usually I do 4 or 5, but a lot of good stuff this week. And as always, our Bucs mailbag is presented by the fine folks over at Immuni Financial. If you're looking for maybe a new financial planner, it's always good to get a second checkup and make sure you get a second opinion about your finances, just like you would your health. And the folks over at Immuni Financial can certainly help you out. They help me out as well.
Will your savings last through retirement? Most people plan for 10 years. A retirement can last 30. Healthcare, taxes, market swings, it all adds up. Take our quiz. Check your retirement readiness today. Immuni Financial.
Folks, the end of the year is near, and we're going to be starting on 2026. Maybe getting your finances in order is one of those goals you have for 2026. Well, start now. This is a great tool that's free to use. There's no obligation to become an Immuni Financial customer, but it's a great tool that you can use to help plan your retirement. And whether you're in your 60s and retirement is coming up, or your 50s, like I'm 53, or even your 40s and you're starting to think about it, or maybe even in your 30s, you're getting well ahead of it. How long will your savings last through retirement? Take this 2-minute quiz. You can scan that QR code, or you can visit them on the web at immuni.com/retire and find out. It's a great tool. Again, free to use. The folks over at Immuni Financial are fantastic to work with. Their offices in St. Petersburg, but they can help you whether you're in the state of Florida or across the United States. So please do us a favor, support our advertisers here at Pewter Report. Immuni Financial, the sponsor of the Bucs mailbag every Monday here on PewterReport.com.
We got a good amount of super chats to get to.
Alrighty.
Also, one last thing I just want to say about Todd Bowles and the message and it getting stale. Todd Bowles' message to the team right now, it feels like when you were in school and you had a substitute teacher and you're like, yeah, substitute teacher. And they're like, okay, like here's the assignment, or you have a project to work on. It's like, yeah, okay. And then you find an excuse to, I got to go to the bathroom or go to the front office. And then you just ditch class for the rest of the day or for the rest of that period that you had that class with a substitute teacher. That's what it feels like right now with Todd Bowles. Oh, okay. The assignment. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we got the assignment. And then it doesn't matter when the game gets going on. But anyway, let's start it off with Cruz Official. Thank you for this $10 super chat. Says Baker was in the MVP talks. Bowles was mentioned as a coach of the year candidate. That's true. I mean, we brought it up with Bruce Arians. Bucs were top of the NFC. Has Bowles gone stale with the players? Speaking on deaf ears. Please make this make sense.
I go back to something Bill Snyder, Kansas State legendary coach, said, and this is what he believed in turning around the worst football program in college football history. Kansas State was dead last, and he turned that program around and brought it back to respectability and in the national spotlight, for years. And he said, football is a game played on emotion. And I just go back to, you can win a Super Bowl and be a mild-mannered guy. Tony Dungy proved that in Indianapolis. But I do know that this team has won 2 Super Bowls with 2 offensive-minded fire starters in John Gruden and Bruce Arians, and their temperature burned hot. And they would tell you how they felt about you. They would drop the F-bombs, and they would raise the intensity level in the organization. And Arians, I think, did it the best. He had the best winning percentage in Tampa Bay history, even though he was only here for 3 years. And, of course, having Tom Brady does help. But and there were seasons where John Gruden, where it was either 4-12 or 12-4. It's like 5-11 or 11-5. If the train was rolling down the track, you'd want Gruden as the conductor because you're going through to the station. If the train jumps the track, he was not the guy that was going to get it back on. Like the season was just kind of over. That's just how it was. Bowles and Dungy kind of have the ability to get the train back on the track a little bit. We've seen that, from their coaching time here in Tampa Bay. But my point is this. There is something about this, and I saw there was a headline in The Athletic, which was talking about Liam Cohen's success in Jacksonville. And it said that the headline was the Jaguars. Let me pull it up here. I've got it right here. Here it is. Liam Cohen's Jaguars are playing with an edge and are in control in the AFC South. And that's true. Liam's a fire starter kind of guy, and listen, that ship has sailed. He's in Jacksonville now. He's not coming, to save the day here in Tampa. But my point is whether it's him, whether it's Ben Johnson, whether it's Dan Campbell, we've seen some guys, Dave Canales, that have some energy, some excitement that can lift a team up with the intensity that they bring. And again, Bruce Arians was the same way. I mean, I've seen Bruce Arians stop practice and absolutely chew out one side of the ball or chew out a player, like old school style. And the results are what they are. The dude won, every year he was in Tampa except for that first season, and won a Super Bowl and had the highest win total this franchise has ever had, 13 games. So there is something about that. And I think that this next head coach better bring some energy. And I'm not saying Bowles is going to get fired. I mean, if they can win 4 more games, they win 11, and he'll be here next year. But whoever replaces Bowles, whenever that is, you're going to see, I think, a younger, offensive-minded guy that brings some energy. Because I think right now there's just not enough energy in Tampa Bay.
Players need to be inspired, and energy is a big part of it. I know Todd Bowles doesn't want people to panic, but I think sometimes panicking does make you play a little bit better because you get that adrenaline rush that you might need. Players need to be inspired, and Todd Bowles doesn't bring inspiration. Kings are awful. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says Baker has been playing so bad, it's going to absolutely affect his contract extension. Grizzard should be one and done. Bring in Kubiak or Monken for head coach.
I mean, those are 2 names I've been thinking about. And, it is interesting because, I mean, Baker's numbers, and I wrote about this in the Bucs mailbag today, they're way off from where they were. I mean, he's on pace to throw for 1,000 yards less and 15 less touchdowns this year from his 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns last year. Those are some significant numbers. I mean, you can point to it. Yeah, he's been injured this year. That's a fact. He's had a turnstile up front with a revolving door along the offensive line. That's a fact. He hasn't had Mike for most of the season, nor has he had Chris for most of the season, or Bucky Irving for most of the season. Those are all facts, but still going to, factor into all of this too, because which Baker Mayfield are you going to give $50+ million to? The guy that was in 2024 or the guy that's in 2025? Because they're 2 different quarterbacks.
And that's the concern for me. Right now, how do you sit here and say Baker Mayfield is a $50 to $55 million quarterback? He's just not right now.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield of last season, and maybe it is a Liam Cohen thing, but Baker Mayfield of last year is absolutely a $50 million plus quarterback.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but this time around, it's very different. He's only going to get older. The injuries are only going to pile up a little bit more. Now, again, sure, injuries, Mike and everything like that, but Mike Evans is retiring soon. Chris Godwin Jr., not looking like the guy he once was. It's not going to be a rebuild for this team, but you're going to need to have quick reloadings of talent at wide receiver, talent at tight end. And I don't know, can you afford to wait a little bit and have patience of paying Baker $50 million while also not giving him the proper amount of targets that he needs? I don't necessarily think so.
I know.
So they're not going to they're obviously not going to just let him go, but I think it does become a conversation of how far are the Bucs willing to go and pay Baker when those conversations come about. The Delaney, thank you for the $4.99, says, "Hey guys, would it be possible to send Todd Bowles to USF and have Brian Hartline as the Bucs coach? He would bring the fire."
Too late for that. They've already.
I don't think
already
USF
hired him.
makes that trade.
I know. Exactly. Yeah.
Kahunaville, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, "Don't forget Todd was handed the head coaching job. Like him as a defensive coordinator, but never saw him as a Super Bowl winning head coach. That's all that matters. Let 2 offensive coordinators walk to keep him. Move on."
Yeah, I think we're at the stage now where it's like, he's supposed to be taking his team to the next level this year. And yeah, there have been some injuries, but at the same time, that's no excuse. And that's why, yesterday's game was like, I say the nail in the coffin, but the Saints are just as banged up. They have less talent on their roster, right? You have a rookie quarterback who started as a backup this season. And played Baker Mayfield and ran through your defense for 2 touchdowns, and if they converted 45% on third downs. So the bloom is off the rose here. And I just don't know where the evidence is that Todd Bowles is going to be the guy that's going to win a Super Bowl here in Tampa.
There are plenty of examples around the league of teams just as injured, if not more injured, than the Bucs that are getting the job done. Look at San Fran. I know the Bucs beat San Fran, but they're a 9-win team. They had a bye this week. They're a 9-win team. That's 2 more wins than the Bucs have, and they had Mac Jones as their starting quarterback for half the year.
Yeah, and you look at what Ben Johnson's doing in Chicago. What are they at? 10 wins right now?
Yes.
Liam Cohen's got 9 wins in Jacksonville.
Yeah, 9 wins for the Bears, but almost beat the Packers. And I think Minnesota this year's not a good example, but Minnesota, Kevin O'Connell had Sam Darnold last year.
Yep.
Who was the Josh Downs, the backup quarterback? He won some games for them. It's not looking good for them this season, but there's plenty of other examples with Kevin O'Connell and different quarterbacks where they've won games. So not good. Kings are awful. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, "This team has taken on the identity of their head coach. No killer instinct. Bowles will not blow out teams. No accountability. Special teams coach still not fired." Yeah, the Bucs don't win by large margins. Every game that they've essentially won this year has been close, except for the road win against the Saints. Everything else has come down to the wire. Yeah. And they've played some bad teams as well where it shouldn't have been close.
Yeah, they were blowing out teams last year because of Cohen's offense. They were dropping 30 points, right? You look at the 30-7 loss that the Giants had at the hands of the Buccaneers coming out of the bye week up there at the Meadowlands, right? They destroyed the Giants. Like, where was that type of performance against the Cardinals team here in Tampa just a week ago, or the Saints yesterday?
Yeah, just looking at all their wins, they beat the Falcons by 3, they beat the Texans by 1, and though the Falcons suck, but the Texans are a better team. Yeah, they only beat the Jets by 2. Remember, that was a game-winning field goal. It was a game-winning field goal. Their biggest win really was against San Fran. They won 30-19. So that was a bit of a cushion. And then, of course, as we mentioned, the win over the Saints. But not a lot of games where you're feeling pretty good going into the fourth quarter.
That's right,
or at least halfway through the fourth quarter. Cruise Official, thank you for the $5, says, "Still cooking. It's time to bench Cade Otton. Yeah, always short of the first down or bobbling the ball. Shipping him a pair of gloves for Christmas."
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not on the Cade Otton fan club by any means at this point in time. And again, I take PFF grades with a grain of salt. But the last couple of weeks, Payne Durham, especially from a blocking standpoint, has been better than Cade Otton. And Cade Otton can't help you as a receiver. If he's not going the necessary distance to get the first downs, if he's not catching the ball cleanly, what's the point? So I'm with you on that.
Also, very interesting. Cade Otton played the least amount of snaps or percentage-wise that he has all season long. He was down to 81%, which was a low for him. And the guy that benefited the most from more snaps was Sterling Shepard at wide receiver. He saw a big big jump in his numbers, and he had 1 catch for 5 yards
Yeah.
in the game. So that didn't really – it was a crucial
Right.
catch that he made, but nonetheless, not too much of an impact. Mark Fisher, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says Baker, not perfect, but O-line gave him little time and was dominated. That's where I put the blame, too. Got to love the DBs versus the slant seam again. Not. So I actually thought the O-line did a better job pass blocking than they did, certainly run blocking in short yardage situations. But I felt Baker had some time for the majority of the game. I think it was more receivers not getting open
Yes, I
more
agree.
than Baker having to run for his life. He did have to run sometimes, but
Yeah.
it was because nobody was open. It wasn't
Right.
It wasn't because there was an edge rusher in his face right away. And to that point, Baker was not sacked in the
No.
game and still had a horrible QBR. So.
Yeah, and he got hit 1 time, according to Pro Football Focus. Again, take PFF grades with a grain of salt, but I do trust their number of pressures, how they count pressures and hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Baker got hit 1 time, and that was due to Michael Jordan blowing a block, right? He got pressured 8 times. Only 8 hurries. That's it. 8 the entire game.
Yeah, that's 2 per quarter.
Yeah. 2 by Luke Goedeke, 1 by Rachaad White, 1 by Sean Tucker, 2 by Dan Feeney, 2 by Ben Chukwuma. And I thought Ben Chukwuma played outstanding in his first NFL game starting in place of Tristan Wirfs. And we should have even maybe thought about that. We didn't even mention Ben Chukwuma on the Pewter Pulse or the Pewter pregame show, just because I didn't think he was going to be in play.
I thought it was going to be Charlie Heck.
Me too. But I mean, he did a number on Cam Jordan. He did a number on Chase Young. I thought he played exceptionally well for his first game. To only give up 2 hurries, that's pretty good.
And in the conditions and everything else, he's probably slipping and sliding throughout that entire game, and
for sure
still was able to hold his own. So yeah, I mean, you want to talk about some positives for the Bucs? That certainly was one for the team. Kings are awful. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Says Levante leaving the locker room early. Bulls lost it.
I wasn't in the locker room yesterday. I'm still. I feel like I'm on the road to recovery today. I plan on going to one Buccaneer place tomorrow. I feel pretty good today. I've been sick for about a week, so I stay away from the team facility. We all do a Pewter Report. If you're sick, you don't go to work. You don't go to the stadium, things like that. So I will go tomorrow. I'm feeling a lot better today, but I wasn't there at the game yesterday. I didn't hear that Levante David had left early. I wouldn't read too much into that. Levante is he's a Bulls guy. He's a he's a company man.
I saw reports about it. I didn't take that as like he's pissed at Todd Bowles. I took that as he's just angry that they lost a game that they had no business losing.
Exactly.
Which he's entitled to, especially when he was a big part of the problem, if we're being honest. Chris GD2QP, thanks for the $1 super chat. We appreciate it. The Real Maverick, thank you for this $5, says, do you think that the year after year midseason slump and the attitude that they can pull themselves out of has worn out? What say you guys?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm tired of it.
Yeah,
I'm tired of it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I'd rather them start out slow and then I'd rather them start out losing 4 or 5 and then they go 5-1 down the stretch, because it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to keep bringing up Cohen and Canales, but Panthers looked awful in the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Jaguars were very wishy-washy, and now they're 2 of the strongest teams coming down the stretch. And the Bucs, again, have lost 4 or 5. So not the situation you want to be in.
No, for sure.
Sad Buck fan. Sorry, sad Buck fan. For the $1.99 super chat, says, it feels like Bowles has lost the locker room.
I don't know that he's lost the locker room, and the fact that players don't like him anymore. They turned on him. You can tune a coach out, or the message that the coach is sending, maybe they've heard it before, so it doesn't resonate as well. I think that's different than losing the locker room. Losing the locker room means can't stand the coach, and I've seen that before. I've seen it with like Schiano, Lovie Smith. I mean, he lost the locker room. Like I've seen what that looks like before. This is not losing the locker room in that sense of the term. This is more like Raheem Morris, like where they love Raheem and let's play football. I'm a Buccaneer, but it's not good football, and that's kind of what we're seeing now. from this team.
Yeah, I think it's tough to lose the locker room as well when you start out 5-1. Because typically, when you think of teams that lose the locker room, it's like, okay, you're 4 wins on the season in December. It's like, all right, well, screw this. Like the message isn't getting home. We're not playing for anything. When you're 5-1, you're thinking, all right, like we're trying to get the number 1 seed in the conference and get a bye for the playoffs. So it's tough to lose the locker room in that sense. But the message at the same time isn't exactly coming through. Henry Gigante, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, says Baker's clearly hurt and needs to sit out until he's healthy. With that being said, Teddy is cooked and isn't capable of playing in this league.
So what you're telling me is the Bucs are doomed. No, I mean this is all hands on deck now. You got 4 games left, and you got to win these games. So if you can play, I don't care if you're 50%, you got to go. I mean, I would trust Baker Mayfield at this point in time more than Teddy Bridgewater. And same thing, Mike and Jalen and Tristan. Like, you got to get out there. Got to get out there and play on Thursday. You will have 10 days off before the Panthers game. So that's the bright side. You get through Sunday or through Thursday night, then you have an entire weekend off. You're not playing on Sunday. So all hands on deck.
It's a must-win game against Atlanta. And as bad as it's been, who knows? Saints beat the Panthers earlier this year, and they're coming off a win against the Bucs. You beat Atlanta, and then, I don't know, Saints beat the Panthers. I'm not banking on it, but if they did, then you're back on top, and you have a chance to close things out. So
that's right.
Again, I'm not banking on it, but Baker has to go. And some of his issues as well haven't been like, oh, he's hurt, he can't make that throw. It's just poor throws.
Yeah.
Kahunaville, thank you for the $10, says, no deadline moves, wasn't light doubting us. He actually thought we had enough to win. That's the issue. Shows how far off the organization's expectations are from reality. This team is barely good, not elite.
For me, I don't buy the whole, this team lost this year because they didn't make a move at the trade deadline. One player is not going to make a difference, acquiring one player. It would help, right? Don't get me wrong. But who's the difference maker at the deadline? Who would have been that player that would have absolutely won the game for the Buccaneers yesterday, right? With the defensive tackle in Dallas? Maybe, right? Maybe instead of Logan Hall, it's, you've got, his name's escaping me.
Quinnen Williams.
Thank you. Quinnen Williams next to Vita Vea. I like that. I'm okay with that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, there's one, but who else got traded that would make a difference? Jalen Phillips? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if
I don't know.
I don't know if he puts them over the top. And again, this all comes back to everyone wanted the Bucs to trade for. Max Crosby,
didn't get traded.
Ray Hendrickson, no one traded for them because they weren't really available.
Right.
That's more of an off-season thing if you want to get mad and not making a trade then versus at the deadline.
Yeah.
Michael Parsons would have been nice though. Chris GD2QP, thanks for the $2, says Baker's PFF at 37.6 and Bowles defense embarrassing.
Yeah.
A lot of embarrassment.
Yeah. No other way to say it. It was embarrassing yesterday. Should not have happened. Just about unforgivable. So,
yeah. Later Skater, thanks for the $2 super chat, says Emeka dropping balls the offensive coordinator should handle, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, there is some merit to what Baker Mayfield said. What are you going to say? Catch the ball, rookie? I mean, he's trying to catch the ball. You can jump all over him. It's not going to make a difference. He wants to catch the balls. And I think these are like learning lessons that are going to benefit him later in time. Mike Evans has had his share of drops. So has Chris Godwin. You forget about those in those games way back when, because of all of the brilliance and greatness and the division championships and the Super Bowl and all the games they won. You forget about those games. You forget about the fact that Mike Evans had recurring hamstring injuries early in his career that he couldn't get a handle of, that he was 240 pounds entering the league, and he was too heavy, and he had to get down to about 220, right? So go back and look at pictures of Mike from draft day and look at Mike now. There's a big reason why Mike's been able to play to the age of 32 and still average 15, 16 yards a catch because he dropped the weight. He took care of his body better. He learned as he went on, and Emeka is going to learn from this little stretch here of some drops, and he's going to be better because of it.
And Todd Bowles gave him a vote of confidence today and said, we're going to give him easy throws early on, get him in a rhythm. So
I think there's some merit to that for sure.
Yeah, expect that as well. Chris, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, watched Houston's amazing defense dominate the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football and keep up their streak, all with an average offense. Must be nice to have a defense you can depend on. Yeah,
there's something to be said about that. And again, D'Amico Ryans has that unit playing with an edge, right? And there's just not an edge here in Tampa Bay. That they don't have it from the coaching staff. Maybe Larry Foote is the fire starter, but he's not enough. They don't have it on from the field. There's just not a fire starter on this defense. There's not. Levante David, great guy. Antoine Winfield Jr., great guy. Vita Vea, great guy. Yaya Diaby, great guy. There's just not that killer out there on defense, and it shows up. It just does. Speaking of shows up, y'all showed up today, big time. I want to give a shout out to some of our members that are watching this broadcast from around the country and around the state and around the world. So Fort Worth, Texas, we have Control Alt Defeat. Fort Worth, Texas, go Army, beat Navy. Yeah, the game's coming up here.
Yeah, that's the game this Saturday.
Yeah, JTP 155, Charlotte, North Carolina, home of the Fighting Canalises. Love this one. Gator Bait Matt watching from the state of despair. Christopher Oxentine from my old stomping grounds, Overland Park, Kansas, wondering why UCF and Kansas State both turned down bowl games. I think there's like 7 teams that have turned down bowl games, including Notre Dame. Bowl system just isn't what it used to be. And when you have new coaching changes and stuff like Kansas State does, it just doesn't make sense to do that. Iowa State also turning down a bowl for the same reason. Elmo
loves Bucs.
Elmo loves Bucs. Gotcha. Thank you, man. Saint Maxime, France. Tallahassee, Florida is also represented here. We've got Raleigh, North Carolina in the house from Ryan H. A lot of North Carolinians today joining the show. Yeah. Scott Valdez from Carrollwood, Tampa. Snowy Toledo, Ohio is where you'll find Buckeye 89. St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. It feels like it's snowing up there too, even though he didn't say it. Derek Bowen, look at the ski hats and stuff.
I think I've actually taken a cruise there once.
There you go. Yeah. D. Castillo in Charlotte, North Carolina, but from Portland, Oregon. Okay, like I said, a lot of North Carolinians today. Michelle C. from Tallahassee, Florida. Glad I sold my ticket and had to cancel the trip down there this weekend. So, yeah.
Wow.
It was a rainy mess on Sunday and a terrible loss. Jarvell 5, cold AF, Ohio. It is cold in the middle of the country right now. Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada is where Nevin Kinley is. Cat with Stitch Happens Cat 2012 from Zephyr Hills, just down the street. Charlotte, North Carolina. We got a lot of North Carolinians. They're ready for this Panthers game in 2 weeks. Yeah. Jason Crabble. Life sucks being a Bucs fan right now. Yeah, I can understand that. And then Piss Missile Pete from Dry Tortugas. Thank you all so much for showing up today in roll call.
Yeah, thanks everyone for your support. Really cool to see how far this podcast reaches. So thanks for showing up. Kings are awful. We know you're always going to show up when it talks about being negative about the Bucs. Thank you for this $2 super chat. It says, Lights bargain basement shopping is unacceptable. They've gone bargain hunting for quite a while now, and it's catching up to them a little bit. It's great when you have the Shaq Barrett moments, but those are few and far between, and it's tough to find those, and that's why Shaq Barrett's a legend in Bucs history.
Yep.
But, it's time to maybe course correct a little bit in terms of what they are looking for in free agency.
And the thing is, Matt, this team's going to have a lot of draft needs, and you only have so many draft picks, right? I mean, even if you have 7 draft picks and you find, 7 really good players, right? Let's say 7 guys you find that can start. Are they starters or are they stars, right? Cade Otton is a starter. He's a 4th-round pick. I mean, Payne Durham in 12 personnel is a starter. He's a 5th-round pick. Servassier Dennis, 5th-round pick. He's a starter. But are these star players? You're only going to find a couple stars in any draft class. You have to go out and buy some. You're going to have to go out and spend some money. And I know that Jason Light gets a little shell shocked when he like looks back at some deals like, like Deshaun Jackson, that didn't really work out. Chris Baker didn't work out. Michael Johnson. But then you have to lean into it and say, well, Shaq Barrett did. Baker Mayfield did. Ryan Jensen did. Ryan Jensen, he went out and paid Ryan Jensen to be the highest paid center in the league coming from Baltimore, right? It worked out. So sometimes you have to almost, forget about the misses and start and keep swinging and try to get some hits. For the draft alone is not going to get this team over the top. You're going to have to find a couple of free agent hits and fits to get this team up and running. And, he tried with the Son Reddick. Okay, it didn't work out. Try again.
Yeah, I mean, it's what Bruce Arians used to always say, no risk it, no biscuit. It could be a bad free agent signing. But as we've seen with the Bucs, like they've been able to understand picks that didn't work out, free agents didn't work out, and then, fill that need or get rid of that problem before it lingers on too long. So I agree with you. They just got to keep trying until it hits. But, go for more proven people versus if they do this or if they can do that.
I agree.
Jonas Correa, thank you for the $4.99, says, wasn't the appeal of Grizzard to keep the same system and scheme? Why fix what wasn't broken?
Yeah, this is a good point for sure. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm more driven and centric towards the defense than I ever have been about the offense. I understand offense from a reporting level, but I can't really go into X. I think Josh Cabo is better at understanding offense than I am. So I can't sit there and look at a route concept and say, oh yeah, this was a Liam Cohen staple from last year, or this is a brand new play and wrinkle that Josh Grizzard has installed. I mean, I can say that looks familiar. The Bucs kind of did that last year, but I don't know the specifics. I don't know if we're looking at 80% of the plays are the same or 70 or 60. I don't know. I don't have that command of this offense and how it kind of overlays and overlaps with last year's. All I can say is the numbers aren't the same. And I do understand Liam Cohen had a lot more health on that roster than Josh Grizzard has done. So some of this stuff, I have to give a little bit of grace to Grizzard because it's an awful position to be put in for an experienced play caller, much less somebody trying to get their feet wet, calling plays with your center playing left tackle and your left guard playing center and a practice squad guy coming up for week one. And there's no Bucky and there's no Mike and there's no Chris and Baker's hurt. I mean, it's been a rough year. For him, not making excuses, but at some point in time, all of this stuff kind of becomes a reason more so than an excuse for Josh Grizzard.
If people had a crystal ball and could see what was going to happen just from an injury standpoint for this team, not many offensive coordinators would even interview for that situation.
Yes. Well said, Matt.
Kings are awful. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Says SR sounds like me the past 2 years. It's Bolgatory. Talking about Todd Bowles.
Yep.
Black Gold 1999. Thank you for the 1999 super chat. Says, I'm floating this idea. Lane Kiffin comes to Tampa. It's not going to happen because he just went to LSU. But knowing that Lane Kiffin will leave at any time, I would love for Lane Kiffin to coach the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's certainly a history with his dad being a Bucs Ring of Honor member, Monty Kiffin, and being the defensive coordinator there. He has coached in the NFL before, and it was years and years ago, and he was a much younger person then too, where I feel like, it'd be cool to get another crack at it.
Yeah.
But I think he's got to spend at least, and again, who knows? He will leave at the drop of a hat, and, that's kind of the deal that whoever signs him knows what they're getting into, or at least they believe they know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
And he will leave you at some point. But I would love for Lane Kiffin. It's not going to happen this year. He hasn't even coached one game for LSU just yet. But I would love for Lane Kiffin. The timing just isn't right for it.
Yeah, and he did have that stint with the Raiders too. Wasn't terribly successful, right? They went 4-12 his first year, and then the next year he got fired after 4-1 start. So, didn't exactly.
4-1's pretty good. I think that's more of an Al Davis thing than.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I said 4-1. He went 1-3. Sorry, 4-12, then 1-3.
Okay.
Then he was fired. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if he's like itching to go back to the NFL, especially with what college jobs are offering right now in terms of compensation and all that. So
That's true too. And he is like the big man on campus in
Yep.
terms of, now that Nick Saban's retired, it's like Kirby Smart and Lane Kiffin are like the
Yeah.
two high-profile coaches.
yeah, I'd love for Kirby Smart to come here. I would.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Stitch Happens Cat, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, sat through that debacle in the pouring rain. Oof.
Yep.
Stale is a great description. Josh doesn't bring out the better Baker. Bright side, Chase looked good. That's right. Chase Money McLaughlin.
Yeah.
Showing why he's one of the best kickers in the league.
Yeah. What about better Baker? That was the whole Popeyes campaign, right?
Yeah.
Better
As soon as you
Mayfield.
start talking about Whataburger, then
I know. Then the wheels came off the wagon.
Yeah, I blame Bradley Cooper. I mean, that was more Uber Eats, but
Yeah.
pops up with Bradley Cooper, and
That's right.
all of a sudden, Baker and the offense are looking like the Eagles' offense.
Mhm.
It doesn't look that good
Yep.
either. Lansdallius, thanks for the $5. Says, can't bring myself to root for the Bucs to lose, but if they miss the playoffs, who are the best choices to replace Bowles at head coach and improve next year?
I've done like a little peek, if I'm being honest, because we had one of these questions in the mailbag. This is not a good year. There's no Ben Johnson available. There's no Mike Vrabel on the shelf, like where he's out of coaching for a year. There's not that guy. I mean, Mike Tomlin. Do you want Mike Tomlin here if he decides to part ways with Pittsburgh?
Oh boy,
he's not been able to figure out offense, folks, in Pittsburgh. Right? I mean, they haven't had a quarterback, but he has not been able to fix the offense whatsoever. And I don't know if John Ledger could take that from Mike.
Oh my God,
from Mike Tomlin going from Pittsburgh to Tampa now. Two of the teams he has a close eye on. That would be brutal. I don't know. I love Mike T as a person. I respect what he's done as a coach. Maybe he needs a change of scenery, but boy, who's going to be the offensive coordinator hire? Like that's something that just has not been his strong suit whatsoever. Same with Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy, it took him going to a team that had Peyton Manning for him to win a Super Bowl, where he's like, hey, the offense is already set here with Tom Moore and Peyton. Shoot, I've just got to fix the defense. Boom, lickety split, Super Bowl. I mean, that's what happened. Kind of like with John Gruden.
Yeah.
He comes here, Monty Kiffin, the entire defense is Super Bowl ready. He just has to fix the offense. Boom, there you go, Super Bowl. So I don't know.
It's got to be a young and up and coming coach.
And the thing is it Clint Kubiak? I mean, he might be the next guy, the Seahawks offensive coordinator. The problem is a lot of these guys that you see, like the Nathan Shieldhaas from the Rams, Declan Doyle, the offensive coordinator for the Bears. They're offensive coordinators in title, but when you have Sean McVay and Ben Johnson that are actually calling the plays, you can't hire those guys to be a head coach and say, okay, you're going to call plays now. Oh, by the way, you're going to be a first-year head coach and you've never called plays before, but good luck. Like that can't happen. So that's why you have to look around the league at who's calling plays and then try to take from those. Do you want Matt Nagy, Kansas City?
No.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And he doesn't even call plays. It's him and Andy Reid, collaborating. But believe it or not, there's a lot more defensive-minded coaches, defensive coordinators that are generating more buzz. And then do the Buccaneers want another defensive coordinator?
Right.
The Blazers have gone through Tony Dungy, Raheem Morris, Greg Schiano, Lovie Smith, Todd Bowles, with very, very mixed results.
The only established coach that I think I would have considered just from his offensive mind, and again, having play calling experience and coaching experience, would have been Mike McDaniel with Miami. But now Miami's winning. I don't know if they're going to fire him now. Because, again, like I know it hasn't worked out with Miami, but the whole Tua injury situation, he comes here, he's got Baker, Bucky, Rachaad. Well, maybe not Rachaad. But, Mike, Chris Godwin, all
Emeka,
all that stuff. Emeka, Bucky. Yeah, like there's something for Mike McDaniel to work with there. But, they definitely have to go offense if they move on from Todd Bowles. And you're right. It's just not the same group of candidates that there were last year. Because they all just come to the Bucs, and then they get the head coaching job.
Yeah.
So. The Real Maverick, thanks for the $2, says, but hey, everyone likes each other and the coach.
Team chemistry is great in Tampa.
No emoji. Yeah. Certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas Crane, thanks for the $5. Says the optimist in me is hoping they come out and put on a show in prime time.
Yeah.
But I can't lie, I am nervous.
Well, I put a pretty sizable amount of money on the Bucs, and this was before we knew the rain was in the forecast and stuff. And we even knew that Tristan Wirfs was gonna not play. But I put a pretty sizable amount of money on the Bucs covering against the Saints. It didn't happen.
Damn.
So I'm going to recover my money by betting on the Falcons money line against Tampa Bay. So we'll see what happens. I'm not rooting against the Buccaneers, but just trying to recover some of my investment from this Buccaneer loss. So please understand.
Jonas Garea, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, this is a hot take in my opinion, but I don't think Bowles is being stoic is a huge issue. Bill Belichick won 6 Super Bowls with a similar demeanor.
Well, I don't think Belichick was a yeller and a screamer, but man, he would rip into guys. I mean,
and he had coaching advantages as well.
Yeah.
Like their game, no team was ever more prepared.
That's right.
Than the Patriots. And also, once you win, and they won, I think 2 in a row and 3 or 4, like in the first stint with Tom Brady.
Yep.
Once you establish that you're a winner, you can pretty much say you're going to do it my way. That's or right. Get the hell out of here.
That's exactly
and,
right.
It's when you start losing a lot more, that's when patience runs thin, and the media is not necessarily going to back you up the way that they have with Bill Belichick. So, yeah.
Just a quick little break here to remind you guys that no podcast tomorrow because we're sticking to our traditional schedule here, Monday podcast, and then we'll have our Wednesday podcast. That'll be the Bucs versus Falcons preview. Guess what, folks? It's a must-win game alert. So the Buccaneers will have a practice on Wednesday, kind of like how they do on Friday practices, where it'll be all these are going to be walkthroughs this week anyways. But we'll have a podcast at 4 o'clock with the latest injury news heading into Thursday's game. Then Thursday morning, 9 o'clock, be there or be square. That is when we have Pewter pregame. And if you miss it live, you can catch it on Pewter Report TV all the way up through kickoff. Then kickoff will be 8:15. Pewter Game Day. Matt Materis and Daniel Morales on the call right here on Pewter Report TV. You can also watch it live streaming on X and Facebook at Pewter Report. Then we'll be back Thursday night for the Bucs versus Falcons postgame podcast. The creamsicle game. Can they finally break the creamsicle curse and actually get a game under their belt with a W wearing these orange jerseys? Will they catch some good Bucko Bruce mojo from going 2-0 this year in the all-white 1976 throwback jerseys? We'll have to find out. We'll also do a podcast on Friday with more reaction to the game before we take the weekend off, and we'll probably need the weekend off. But this is the start of a new week. It's Monday, and I wanted to remind you that we have happy hour going on over at Walk-Ons all day tomorrow from 11 to close, but it's also on right now until close. So you can eat like a winner, drink like a champ with a fantastic happy hour menu, 3 different Tampa Bay area locations to serve you, Wesley Chapel, Midtown Tampa, and Lakeland. And if you're going to the game on Thursday, you might want to stop in and have your pregame meal at one of those Walk-Ons locations. You can also get some catering to serve up a win for maybe your tailgate, or whether you're going to watch the game at home and have a watch party. Take your event to the next level with a new catering program for Walk-Ons. Order directly online at catering.walkons.com or in the Walk-Ons app.
Eric Moreno, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, you think Tyke will play on Thursday? I don't know. It's a coin flip. It's too early to tell.
Yeah, I agree.
White Watch, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, in-house hires seem like they never work. It was one thing with Todd, but now Grizzard ruined the offense. Time to clean house in coaching. I don't think Josh Grizzard ruined the offense. There's certainly some issues, but ruined, I think, is a bit too harsh.
I agree.
Chris GDT2QP, thanks for the $2 super chat. Says, outside the easiest interception ever, Zion still looked awful. Well, they almost burned him on the first play of the game going with Chris Olave, but was unable to come up with that. It was better from Zion. Good that he had an interception. Just hate that they squandered it.
Yeah, I just think that they need some better coaches. I don't think Todd Bowles is going to make changes necessarily, but I think he should be forced to make changes. Otherwise, you force him out. There's some coaches on here, and I think you can kind of tell by my direction of where I'm directing some of these comments. They need to go. They need to be replaced. These players aren't getting better. There's not a lot of player development going on. I think it's kind of frustrating if you're a GM or in the personnel department and you're drafting some which you think are good players. They're not getting developed. It kind of creates a quandary. Like, did we draft the wrong players? Are these guys just kind of mediocre, or are they good, or it's not being developed? Are you not taking a mediocre player that needed some time to develop and making him a good player, or a good player we're giving you guys and the coaching staff that has all the talent in the world, but you're not making him great and taking him to the next level? That's a quandary sometimes where you're trying to figure that out if you're on the personnel side. You know, I mean, as great as Warren Sapp was walking in the door, right? Rod Marinelli took his game from A- to A+. Sapp would have been great regardless. He probably would have been a Hall of Famer regardless. But that coaching got Warren Sapp to that level so quick to where he became a dominant player. I mean, Rod Marinelli was the best defensive line coach you've ever seen. He just was a guru.
Things are awful. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Says, I wish media would just tell the head coach your scheme sucks. Bowles will go, is that a question?
Like in a press conference? Is that what I mean? Like, that's not professional. I mean,
yeah.
We can do,
and that's the thing. Yeah, everyone, this isn't complaining, but like some fans will just say, like, well, why don't you say like, why were you terrible today? Or like, why are you awful? Well, it's like, it's a little bit of a song and dance, right? Like, if we just go up every week and say, hey, you sucked at this, you were horrible at that. Now, please give us an eloquent, long answered explanation as to why you're the worst coach in the league. Like, they're not going to want to answer that. And obviously we have a job to do, and then they have a job to do, but it's a little bit of like a song and dance with these interviews as well.
Yeah. The other thing too is, like, if I go to Bowles or Matt and I ask him, why does your defense always struggle against backup quarterbacks? Like, what is he going to say? You know, I mean, he can come up with some song and dance answer and excuse it. Well, you know, it's not the quarterback, it's the system. And, you know, it's just excuses at the end of the day. So whether you want us to prompt the coach to give you an excuse, like, we can do that. I think I've tried to hold Todd Bowles' feet to the fire, just like I have any other coach that I've covered, you know, before. So.
For sure. Kahunaville, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, my point, no trade deadline move is not that we were one player away. We are tons of players away, yet Light and company thought we were good enough as is.
I don't think that was necessarily the case. And I go back to like last year. The Buccaneers clearly needed a wide receiver, right? When they lost Mike and Chris, right around the time where the Ravens game, then you had the Falcons game at home, then the 49ers, the Chiefs game, and all that. During that stretch, they didn't have Mike and Chris. And Jason looked at it and said, if I trade for Cooper Kupp, what's Cooper Kupp going to come in and do? Is he going to be the difference maker? Is he going to allow me to get to the Super Bowl the next year, and I'm going to have to give up, like, you know, a second round pick, you know, for that? And we'll see how Benjamin Morrison fares, right? I mean, well, maybe Benjamin Morrison is Brian Kelly, maybe he's Donnie Abraham, maybe he's Vernon Hargreaves, who knows? But the thing is when you give up a draft pick for a guy, he needs to be a long-term answer. Otherwise you're renting a player, right? B, he's got to be a guy that's a good scheme fit, locker room fit, where you're not just, this isn't Madden where you just, I'm going to get this player and he's going to come in with a 92 rating and 94 speed, and he's going to be an automatic fit, plug and play. There's a lot that goes into it. Then there's also the draft pick compensation too. Like, the two teams have to agree on that. So that's why you only see a handful of trades. You don't see, not like every team is trading at the deadline. So I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that.
Definitely. Not as common as, you know, other sports. Drillman32, thanks for the $5, says, not enough play action, too many screens, no emphasis on downfield throws. Our offense seems throttled down.
Bulls.
Bulls too conservative suddenly. I always think there could be more play action if the Bucs are going to throw the ball 40 times in a game.
Yeah.
Run play action 25 out of those 40 throws.
Yeah.
I always think you can never have enough play action. I think they've gone 2 down the field. Like,
Yeah.
10 to 15 yards should be the sweet spot of these throws for Baker Mayfield. I think that's where he did well last year, and that wasn't the case yesterday. They just couldn't complete anything down the field. So Mike Evans is sorely missed. I think that's
there's
pretty
no doubt about it.
Adrian Ricardo Builds, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, says, I don't think head coach or OC is going anywhere, just for the simple fact that Baker would be on his next offensive coordinator in as many years. Continuity will keep a head coach hired.
I don't think that's the case at all. I think if Todd Bowles, if they don't win 3 out of the next 4 games, I think they're probably not going to win the division. And I don't think Todd Bowles will be here. So I don't think Baker Mayfield.
And if anything, Baker has shown that he can succeed with new play callers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Ryan H, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, thank you, Pewter Report, for everything you guys do to bring us the best coverage, best in class.
Appreciate
you saying that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You all make this very fun, and that's why we'll do a 2-hour and 20-minute show, or a show today that's getting close to an hour and a half.
Yep.
You all make it fun, and that's why we're doing it.
Agreed.
The Hypest Beast, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, I'm an avid light supporter, but if we don't invest heavily into defense, then it's time to move on. Offense just needs to be healthy and replace Cade Otton. I think there's something to it.
Yeah, this is going to be another defensive-minded draft, but keep in mind too, Matt, like you said, outside of the 1st and 7th round pick, all of the other picks in between were defensive players last year, right? They got 2 defensive linemen, they got 2 cornerbacks. They drafted a safety the year before with Tyke Smith. It's not like they haven't. It's not like they've neglected the defensive side too. It's just there's been a lot of misses with the premium picks too. Chris Braswell, great, you got a sack yesterday, but here we are. We're 13 games into the season.
First sack of the year.
Yeah. So congratulations, but that's one play out of the whole year.
Yeah. And to the Hypest Beast's point with the offensive side, that is true. Like, they are going to have a completely when Cody Mapp eventually heals, they will have a unit that's played together before with all their starters under contract, which is big.
Yeah.
Jalen McMillan, to me, is a big piece in all of this because, again, if you're looking at more than just next season, even if McMillan is more of a number 2 receiver, having 2 number 2s with Egbuka and McMillan still puts you in a better position. I know Chris Godwin Jr. is going to be there as well, but it still puts you in a better position than a lot of other teams in the league where, maybe they don't have to focus primarily on offense. And then, of course, if Mike Evans decides to come back for one more year, then you can kind of prolong finding a wide receiver 1 for yet another season. So
I agree.
Probably will be more defense.
Mm-hmm.
T-Town 813 Trouble City, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, saw a lot more jet motion and orbit motion with Cohen, more eye candy. Yeah, it feels like they've kind of slowed down from a lot of the motion. They had pony package.
I saw a lot of orbit yesterday, though. I saw a lot with Tez Johnson, going in orbit. I think I even saw Sterling Shepard. They're starting to get back to that a little bit. I think that's been missing, and I applaud Josh Grizzard for diving back into that, because that kind of stuff is good. It makes defenses think for a second, maybe slows down some reaction time. What's going on? You're trying to read your key, and all of a sudden, the receiver's going across, then he's going behind the quarterback, and he's coming back around like a loop. So I'm all in favor of that stuff.
They did it with Tez once. They did Cade Otton there. They did use a lot more pony package, which I absolutely loved. And they had Rachaad White going in motion. They had Bucky going in motion as well. So Airship Flyer, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, I love Clint Kubiak for our next head coach now, please.
I think the other thing, too, is you don't need just a good play caller. You need a leader of men, and I just don't know enough about Clint Kubiak. Is he that guy that's going to be organized enough to come in and assemble a coaching staff? I've just seen enough coaching staffs here in Tampa. The assistants make the team, right? Like Greg Schiano, he had PJ Fleck as a wide receivers coach. That's a home run hire. PJ Fleck was an outstanding coach. He went on to become Minnesota's head coach. But outside of PJ, there wasn't a lot of good coaches. I mean, Lovie Smith had Joe Cullen, a fantastic defensive line coach here in Tampa. But outside of that, just didn't have a lot to work with, Hardy Nickerson was a good middle linebackers coach, I think, good inside linebackers coach. But it's more to just finding a good play caller to be a head coach. You got to be a leader of men. You have to have some energy. You have to have a vision. You have to have some charisma about you as that front man for your band, essentially. And that it's a hard find, and that's why you see so much churn at the head coaching level, because some guys just aren't cut it out to be the head coach. So we'll see.
Speaking of head coaches, FLTB 7600, thanks for the $1.99, says opinion on Doug Peterson. He was a Super Bowl winning head coach. To me, he seems like more of like a bridge head coach than
didn't work out in Jacksonville.
Yeah, that too.
He was in Jacksonville. It didn't really work out, so I don't think so.
He wouldn't be my first choice.
Yeah,
Doug Peterson, to me, I'd put him in the same boat as Mike McCarthy, where if you're a team that hasn't won for a long time and you need a little bit of like a stability and a culture change type of thing, I think that would be more of your coach.
Yeah.
Cove 1331, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says bring Chris Kleiman over at least. At least. He got North Dakota State 4 national championships.
He did, but I mean, he just retired from Kansas State. So I mean, I don't think he's ready for the NFL. I think he's a college coach. I think he would have success at the FCS level. There's just college football just got way too crazy with the NIL and all of this type of stuff. It's kind of ruining the game, I think. You're seeing a lot of good coaches leave because it is more like NFL football, having to manage your roster and pay players and transfer portal and all that stuff. See, and that's the difference between the NFL and college. College, there's no contract. Like, you can, I can pay you $2 million to be my quarterback, and you can leave the next year, and because you're not under contract, and go play for somebody else for $3 million. At least here, it's like you have free agency. You can't leave until free agency hits. College is the wild, wild west, man. It's rough. So I don't think Chris Kleiman would want any part of the NFL right now. Good coach though.
Yeah.
But
it just, I don't know. It feels like a quick fix for all of that would be like players have to sign 2-year contracts or 3-year contracts, or there's more incentive for staying versus going.
Yeah,
because like players definitely get paid. Like it definitely shouldn't be like how it was, where players get suspended for a whole year for like taking free gifts and stuff like that. It shouldn't be like that. But
totally agree.
What it is now isn't ideal either.
Yeah.
Chris, thanks for the $2 super chat, says if we lose the division, off season and hope for next year.
It all depends on what the plan is to come in. I mean, it all depends on what's next, right? And I will say this: nobody covers the any off season better than Pewter Report. We're at the Senior Bowl in Mobile. We're at the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. We do the work when it comes to free agency and the draft to get you all prepared for what's going to happen. The coaching changes, we've been all over that the last couple of years. So stay tuned, folks. Even if this season ends a little prematurely in early January, we got you covered through the offseason.
Bucko Biscuit, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says we had a top 5 offense last year without Emeka Egbuka. I believe we just need a different coordinator. Who do you think would be a good fit as new OC and or HC?
Again, I don't know that if Todd Bowles comes back, I think he's going to want Josh Grizzard back. And again, I'm going to give Grizzard some grace just because there's been so many injuries. I mean, you got to go back and count all of the missed starts from Mike and Chris and Jalen and Cody Malk and Bucky Irving and Ben Bredesen and Tristan Wirfs and Luke Goedeke, right? I mean, we're talking like dozens and dozens and dozens of missed starts between all those guys. It's not just, they don't have Mike for this game, or they're missing their left guard. No, it's like they have 6 out of the 11 starters or 5 out of the 11 starters available. I mean, that's what it's been like. It's been uphill sledding. And I think we need to give Grizzard a little bit of grace and a little bit of time to like figure it out. I mean, he's making mistakes. This is his first year doing it. This is just like Dave Canales all over again.
Mhm.
But Dave had the healthiest Buccaneer team I can remember back in 2023. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, if Bowles is here, I don't think Grizzard needs to go anywhere. I
Right.
think this is very much just growing pains. Something's working, something's not working. Go back, reassess, see
Yeah.
how he does, and I'm sure he'll improve as a play caller as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not as concerned as Josh Grizzard as I am about Bowles and the
Me too.
defense,
Me
and
too.
just like the overall performance of Baker, Emeka, Egbuka, and stuff like that.
Yep.
Kyle Eddy 661, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, do you guys see Bill Belichick as a potential option?
No, I don't. I don't see Bill Belichick as an option. I mean, he's a short-term option. We've kind of seen what Pete Carroll has done, and this team needs younger, not older. And I listen, Bill Belichick has forgotten more football than I'll ever learn. Okay, I'm not trying to knock Bill Belichick, but I also think we've seen what Bill Belichick is like without Tom Brady, and is not the same. Is not the same. So.
And from a media standpoint, I have no interest in covering Bill Belichick. I mean,
me
he
too.
sucks with the media. He gives no answers. Everything's going to be about Jordan and what's going on there. I have no interest in being involved with that at all. And I would also love if we gave some truth serum to the people with the Falcons, why they didn't want to hire Bill Belichick, because that was the big thing.
That's right.
Bill Belichick's
They
coming to
chose
the NFC
Raheem
South.
over.
Exactly.
That's right.
So I'd love to know a little more information about that as well. So.
Yeah. Well, we're going to tell you a little bit more information about the Bucs Falcons game on Wednesday. That is our preview show. It's the must-win game alert, folks, and they got to win on Thursday night. Otherwise, it's going to go from bad to worse. And then on Thursday, game day, we're going to have Pewter pregame at 9:00 in the morning. So skip your little morning meeting at work, or maybe drive into work a little bit late. Just take the whole day off. I don't care. And then make sure you check out Pewter Game Day. That's going to be 8:15 kickoff on Amazon Prime. But the place to watch the game is there, but the place to listen to it and catch all the reaction to the action is Pewter Game Day right here on Pewter Report TV. And then, of course, on Thursday night, we'll have the Bucs versus Falcons postgame podcast after the game. Boy, the Bucs need a win. And they got to find the antidote to Kirk Cousins, because he has been problematic for Todd Bowles' defense. So
I don't think that's been said by any team in the last 2 years. They need to find an antidote for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he plays terribly against every other team, but Todd Bowles' defense. So we'll see if Thursday night is any different this year, because it was awful last year. I'll have a Pewter pulse dropping in literally a couple minutes on Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. That'll also be on PewterReport.com. You can check that out there. And check out our content. Matt's got the snap counts up. Adam Slavan has top 10 takeaways video that's up and new. And then I've got a 2-point conversion post-game column and Bucs mailbag there. And we just got another super chat.
Yes, we did. Showcase, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, I'm late joining today. You think Baker still gets the contract this offseason? Do they have him play on the final year of his deal?
Great question. I don't know.
I'd have him play. The way that he's finishing the season and understand injuries and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed for him next year anyway. I would have him play. I mean, did they not just learn from Zion McCollum?
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. If he starts playing well, then you get yourself in a situation where you're in a bidding war once again.
Right.
But
his numbers under Grizzard are so similar to what they were under Canales in 2023. So you've had 2 years where you've had similar numbers, and then last year under Cohen was the outlier, but Cohen's not here anymore. And if you can't replicate that with your offensive coordinator, then you're overpaying for underproduction. And so and Baker will be 31 next year too. That's something to consider. So I'm not down on Baker, but yeah, I'm with you, Matt. I think maybe we need to sit there and say, all right, which Baker Mayfield are we getting with our 50+ million? Are we getting the 41 touchdown guy or the 23, 26 touchdown guy?
And I can live with the re-signing of this version of Baker, but again, not for the gargantuan price tag. And I understand Baker is going to want as much as he can get because he's been around the league for a while and understands the business of it. I know it's going to make for a tough. There's a lot of tough conversations for the Bucs this offseason.
Yes, for sure.
The season's not done just yet. Who
Yep.
knows what will happen in these next 4 games? So until our next show on Wednesday at 4 p.m., if you're not already doing so, please make sure you're following us on all of our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We're at Pewter Report. And our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment on this video, whatever you are feeling about this Bucs team, good, bad, ugly, beautiful, indifferent, whatever the case may be. Appreciate everyone's support as we all commiserate together about.
Thank you, Piss Missile
Bucs
Pete.
teams.
Appreciate that comment.
Yeah, thanks, Piss Missile Pete, for the kind words. And thank you all for joining us this afternoon. So that will do it for us on today's show. For Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera, saying thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you Wednesday for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.